Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. My track guide for the BMW M2 going around circuit Lédenon. Let's get into it. We want to be all the way out here on the right, and we want to have the white line in just about middle of the car to help open up turn 1. We have to see turn 1, 2, 3 and 4 as one big turn. Since we are pretty much braking all the way out to turn 3, I turn in just before the wall ends here on the right. After turning, I start to brake and I'll go to about 25% in the beginning. Then it's all about finding a happy spot for the car. With going a little bit off the brake, trying to brake a bit more if you're understeering too much. You just want to hit the second curb here for turn 2 as well. And then we want to drag out all the way to the curb on the outside of turn 3. Just make sure to keep one set of wheels within the white line of turn 3. Then we want to turn the car in, so we cut the inside curb of turn 3. And just before we get to that curb, we will apply the throttle again. Here we will ease it in, otherwise the rear will come around. Then we want to cut turn 4 a bit. Don't take too much as there is a 1.1 second slowdown in there. For turn 5, we want to have the white line in the middle of the car, again to help open up the corner. I couldn't really find a good clear braking marker here, but I'll try and use the big bush here on the right side. Once I lose that, then I'll apply the brake and I go to about 85% brake pressure, easing that off all the way to the middle of the corner. And once at the top of the corner is where we want to apply the throttle again. You can cut a little bit of the curb, but I found it better not to. I'm easing in the throttle again, just to make sure we're stable. And of course, use all of the available room on the outside. Bring the car over to the right side of the track. Here we want to have the white line in the middle of the car again. And here I couldn't find a good braking marker either, so this is just about where I brake, just after the sector time comes up. When I start to brake, I go to about 80% brake pressure and easing off all the way to the curb on the inside. Here the curb is flat, so we can cut all of it, and when I get to the curb, I'll start to apply the throttle again. Here we're still easing in the throttle to make sure we don't go on the ESP. And there's plenty of room on the outside. I use that also to make it easier for turn 7, so the car don't slide on the rear for you. Then we want to stay on the right side of the track. Again, get the white line in the middle of the car. And for turn 8, we have to brake a little bit when the stand starts. So that is my marker for this one. A quick hit to about 30%, holding a little bit of pressure all the way to the curb, cutting that as well. After the curb, we want to apply the throttle again and get out here on the outside of the track. For turn 9, we are all the way on the outside curb. Just make sure you have one set of wheels within the white line. And I'm braking halfway between the two drain covers here. Here I'm aiming for about 80% brake pressure, easing that off all the way to the curb on the inside. I like to stay in third here, but if you can't make the corner, try second. Once I get to the curb on the inside, I'll start to apply the throttle again. And we're going uphill, so we can actually do more than we think. But we still want to ease in the throttle because the car is quite unstable at this point. Then we want to get to the right side of the track for turn 10. This one is blind turn-in, so it will be quite hard. And takes quite a while to learn. Don't hit the curb of turn 10 too hard, then get out to the right side of the track for the curb of turn 11. Again, no clear braking markers, but most times when I get to the curb here on the outside, it is fine to start to brake. So that is pretty much just what I do. I aim for about 50% brake pressure, going into trail braking action all the way to the curb. The red and white curb is flat here, so we want to cut that on the inside. Once I get to the curb, I'll start to apply the throttle again. And we want to ease it in to make sure we don't understeer too wide, because we don't want to get too far right for turn 12, just to make sure we get a better angle. I do cut a bit of turn 12. It will unsettle the car a little bit, just so you know. Now we want to be smooth with the inputs, cutting a bit of 13. And for turn 14, I don't have a clear braking marker either, but this is where I start to brake. Pretty much when the car is stable after turn 13. I'm braking over the green stuff as well, just to open the corner up just a bit more. I go to about 70% brake pressure, holding about 60% brake pressure all the way to the green curb. Once off it, you can brake a bit more again, and then I go to about 70 there as well. Then holding a bit of pressure all the way to the curb on the inside as well. Once at the curb on the inside, we want to apply the throttle again. Again, we want to be really easy with the throttle here. It is so easy to lose the rear. And we want to use all of the available room here on the outside. Then we want to take the shortest round to the start-finish line. And that's my lap around circuit Lédenon in the BMW M2 of a time of 1 minute 28.9. I have more track guides for the M2 linked down below. Hopefully you found this one useful. If you did, leave a like down below. Consider subscribing as well. And now for the uninterrupted hot laps.